because usually the Republicans end up giving in to whatever the Democrats want because of the backlash from the media, celebrities, talk shows, all of them with their media campaign,
Mm-hmm.
and the Republicans don't have that kind of apparatus to push their message. They they end up losing the war of words, right? And information. So I'm glad that now they are not giving in to that. Some of them still have to learn,
Mm-hmm.
but it's refreshing to see them. I still don't think that they fight back as much as they should and
I agree.
could, but at least they growing a spine if they ain't got one yet.
I swear.
I don't know what happened, but I'm getting a lot of feedback in my headset now. I
You
don't know
are?
why. hmm And I don't know why.
Are you getting it now?
I've never had that problem before,
You know what I'm saying? Are you
but
getting
I'm
it
getting a
now?
lot
You
of
still
like
getting it now?
static. I can hear you. It's just that my when I turn
Oh,
it,
okay. I
I'm
get what you're
getting
saying.
static in my headphones.
So it has,
So I
okay.
don't know if it's translating
It's not.
in the sound.
I can everybody if you're watching on TT, we would love for you to roll on over to YouTube so we can talk a little more freely and you guys can actually engage with us. Because of course we're going to be doing stuff on our TikTok after we get the live capability, which is why I'm doing this now. But if you guys can roll on over to YouTube, we'd appreciate it. It's the Proud Mary podcast, and then you can engage with us a little more, and we actually will bring people up over on the YouTube as well. So I did want to go over a couple of the things that they are asking for, just to see what you thought. He said they want three. This is Chuck Schumer. They have three basic objectives. They want to rein in ICE and end violence. So they want to end the roving patrols. They want to bar ICE agents from entering certain places. Use of force code for immigration enforcement agents, and they want to require the agents to not wear masks. And everybody has to have body cameras. Now we do know that they I think spent some of their money or spending some of their money so everybody can have so they can have body cameras, but I'm like y'all asking for that and I think that's good for them so that they can show how crazy these people be acting.
I
But
agree with that. I
yeah.
do agree with that because I agree that they could give in to body cams or whatever. The only things that I don't um, agree with is the Democrats trying to run operations through different rules and restraints, right? Because they don't know what it's like they don't know what their mission truly is. They don't know what intel that they have. They don't know what they're dealing with on the streets. So you can't quarterback from Capitol Hill
Mhm.
and you're encroaching in on the executive branch of the government because that's his thing for him to decide how to execute, put people in place that plan, execute operations in whatever agency it is. So
Mhm.
that's the only thing I don't agree with is Democrats trying to change policy, trying to change procedure to what they want, and they didn't win the election. We said we didn't like their governing.
Yeah, and I think that's the craziest part of it for me is that like and maybe because I was paying attention, I just wasn't bothering. What's that man name? uh who I said, what's that man name? My former president, Biden. I wasn't bothering him. So I don't know what he I don't know what they was doing. I wasn't caring. And I don't recall. I know they gave them some pushback on that student loan thing, but I didn't really hear the Republicans like trying to fight on everything
Right. They
that
actually got everything that they wanted, and it was in
yeah.
bipartisan manners, except for that Inflation Reduction, the CARES Act, that exorbitant spending that Biden did. But still, it wouldn't have happened had well, no, that was in the first 2 years, so they were running the House and stuff. But Mike Johnson did let them pass a bunch of spending once he became speaker, and McCarthy did as well. So
That's why you
I
don't
just,
like him.
you're right. Like we weren't. I'm gonna say this. I paid attention. I did complain. We talked about the policies and what it was doing, and the effects and everything. But we weren't out here like protesting and tearing up stuff, and
It's like
we
super.
weren't doing that. We accepted that we weren't the governing party, right?
Yes.
And we tried to get in where we could, but we couldn't be mad because we weren't the governing party. It wasn't our agenda,
I,
So, but what they're doing is they're trying to change
mm,
the agenda
yep.
to what they want to do.
I remember kind of just in my mind saying, all right, just go wait this thing out. We
Mhm.
go, hey, we just go deal with it. And it is what it is. I was
Do the
not.
count of 2 more years,
Hmm. Yeah, I was. I literally, I
and
knew.
come down to election day. Can't wait.
Thank you. Sacred Grove, welcome in. He said, oh, yeah, I do remember that Sacred Grove. Sacred Grove was saying Kamala was the tiebreaker. And I remember them all
Mhm.
feeling like every time that what they were having was going to pass because, they knew she was going to come in and do what she needed to do.
Mhm.
Now, what was I watching today? Somebody was saying that President Trump is probably getting a little mad at the Senate because they keep trying to do things with the 60 votes, and like is he, like he just needs to go ahead and understand and get Thune, Speaker Thune, to say, hey, look, do we need to do so we can get this stuff, because I still feel like we're getting things done, but I do feel like we're still kind of like the little engine that could, in a sense, because there's so much other stuff that is, supposed to be being done, and it's like we keep shut down, then we got, what I'm saying. So we can't even
Right.
truly, I mean, the president was still working, but I just still feel like, and I know that's the point, right? Because they already know that if the things start going the way that they're planning to go, he will go down as, if not the greatest president ever, as one of the greatest presidents ever.
It'll be the
And that
greatest.
and that is the part, that they don't want. And
It'll be the greatest.
yes, but they and so they're intentionally doing it. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
because the swamp is gonna swamp, and I want to bring your attention to this. Remember the way that Thune got to be Speaker pro tem, whatever they call him in the Senate, right? Remember the way that he got that position. They Rhino Republicans, Mitch McConnell leading the way, shoved him in there before um, the Congress turned over. Do you
Okay.
remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about how they kind of stabbed us all in the back by just
Back.
kind
Yep.
of making sure that they got it. So I don't fully trust Thune. And in order to not be found out, he got to pretend a little bit like he's doing a little pushback, but ultimately he's blocking this agenda by not moving forward.
Yeah,
I
not making
also
things.
think that
Well.
they should change the filibuster to the standing filibuster, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's the way it should be. I think that if there is legislation that you do not want to pass, you should be made to stand before the American people and explain to us why, especially on legislation that was voted on, right? The
Mm-hmm.
policy that was voted on, that was, ran on and people voted for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also something that comes up that the majority of Americans say that they want to save that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to pass what the majority of Americans want, you should be made to stand before us and tell us why.
Yeah.
What's your reasoning?
Because by you seeing how many Republicans want it, you see how many Democrats are in support of it. Why is we waiting to hear what them people who obviously don't care about their constituents are doing? Do what's best for the American people. And that's
Yep.
what one of the reporters was saying today to Caroline. He was like, because we just gonna keep it real. We already know the Democrats would push through and do everything that they wanted to do. They would not be sitting here trying to negotiate like that because that's
Nope.
how they are. They some
Look at
bullies.
what they did with what they passed through during Biden, with absolutely no Republicans, no support. Everybody was saying no, but they wanted to do it. They had the votes. They did it anyway. They don't compromise at all. They do not compromise on anything. If they had a vote, they doing whatever it is. They
Yep,
don't care
whatever
what.
the hell
And a
they
lot
want
of
to do.
times, if you go back and look, they won't even let Republicans make amendments to their bills. Republicans will, try to be like, okay, y'all can add some amendments or whatever. If just come on and let's pass this. Democrats won't even let them. Don't want to have debates over the stuff they want to do. They don't want to compromise with Republicans. They don't want to let them amend anything. When they have power, they don't give a damn about nothing.
Nothing.
And, and Republicans need to understand that, because right now we in a fight for the the sovereignty of the nation, right? This is not just about another election, and you not being as forceful. Like, I ain't asking you to get in the mud with them and sling,
Hmm.
but at least go learn a few
Get a little
moves.
dirty. Get some dirt under your fingernails or something. Jesus.
To
Quit
just
being
pick
so
up some mud
soft.
and just throw a little ball.
Right? Throw a little mud ball. Make you a
Take
little
out
mud
some
pie.
paint
Something.
and roll around, but throw some mud in there. Shoot.
They
That's
too clean cut. They too conservative. But speaking of
Mhm.
compromise, with it leads us and rolls us right into another issue that's going on right now that is sitting in the Senate, which is a big topic now since we've been dealing with this influx of immigrants and deportation and ICE and all this. Now we have the Save Act,
Mhm.
and I don't have a clue what they would have a problem with. And the fact that I have watched many, 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 many times, Schumer, I didn't play this now saying that it's Jim Crow 2.0.
Mhm.
I am just wondering what country does he have to be in? Because actually, and I have a video of you want me to show of him saying that it is important and we should have voter ID.
Mhm.
It was 1996. Now, maybe what
That
is
was
it?
before they flooded all them illegals into these areas, but that I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe he old now and he didn't change his mind or what. But it's ironic because it's like a lot of the things that they're fighting now, like even with the tariffs, all of them were for all of these things. Now all of a sudden they're not. But I
Well, they weren't in fear of losing the black vote then. And like I said, they weren't flooding in the country with illegals, giving them a bunch of free stuff and IDs and registering, because if you got ID, you register to vote. In a lot of these Democrat areas, they're giving them IDs. So
hmm yeah,
then
you
they
sent
didn't. Now they done figured out how to rig the system, since they're losing a lot of their voter blocks. And I don't understand how a lot of people, especially Democrat voters, don't see this, that the Democrat Party is hemorrhaging support and voters. And with each new uh, political stunt they pull, they really open the eyes of more people. Like, that be the thing that makes somebody say, "Wait a minute," and they're hemorrhaging voters. It's I don't know. Keep doing what they're doing.
well, what I wanted to do, because we are known for and what people like about us is the fact that we actually give factual information and
Mhm.
people if they don't know they can actually see it ain't just our opinion. Now our opinion is good, y'all. We know what we talking about, but we don't have no problem putting a stamp on it and proving to you what we're saying. So some of the misinformation that is being given
Right.
about this Save Act is one of the things with the married women. Now,
Hmm.
w- what can you say what the whole issue and what the problem is that they feel the problem is going to be for women who just got married?
So the simplistic thing that the Democrats are saying, because they think that we all simple-minded, is that if you get married, then all of a sudden you're gonna lose your right to vote if this bill is passed, because gosh darn it, you don't know how to go and prove that you are the same person that you were the day you were born.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no possible way that you're gonna ever be able to identify yourself again if this
But
bill passes.
they have to get a new license and a new social security card when they get married and they want to change their name. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not understanding why we would believe it would be so hard to register to vote with that name
Mm-hmm.
once.
Don't you have to get a new driver's license too?
Yeah, I mean, and here's the ironic thing. I know people who have never changed their stuff legally. They're married.
Mm-hmm.
They is valid. They put it with the city hall. They just chose
Mm-hmm.
not to change all of their stuff. But for the people
Mm-hmm.
who do want to, it's not. You take the marriage certificate
You
the
know what
same
it
way
is?
you took it to the DMV to get your new license with your
Yeah,
new
you
married
take it
name.
there
You take it
with
to,
your
yeah.
birth certificate,
Actually,
of
yeah. When
course.
you go do it, you can just tell them you want to register to vote too, because you register to vote when you get your new license,
Mm-hmm.
and
But
just
all you have to do is bring that document that showed that you are this person on the birth certificate and your name changed. Here's my marriage license. This is me. That's
y-
it.
your birth.
They
And
just
I
want to
actually
make sure
wanted you to
that
talk about that
whoever is coming to register is the same person that you were when you were born.
with your
That's
birth
who's
certificate.
coming.
Right, because on your marriage certificate it says who you used to be and what your new name is. So I
Hmm.
don't understand why they think, and we were talking today and I wanted you to share that because somebody was saying, well, everybody, it's hard to get a birth certificate. And I was like, you
I've
can
done
order
it
your
twice.
birth certificate
I've done it
online
twice. I've done it twice from two different states online. Took me no more than a week
with the
for it to come.
hospital was
In some
closed.
cases, I would even say 3 days. Um, all I had to do was go online to whatever state's Department of Vital Statistics and apply for a copy of my birth certificate and pay whatever fee it is, and they mail it to you.
Yes, usually it's only
Easy
like
peasy.
about $15. But then that's what they were
Yeah.
saying. Well, everybody don't have it, and they should just make it free. And then somebody said to me they should have a voting ID. I said
Well,
they
how are all these people applying for college loans and car loans and getting apartments and getting mortgages and writing checks and cashing checks and getting bank accounts and going on trip, buying plane tickets, getting through TSA? How are these people doing all of this? Buying cigarettes and scratch
that's
off
what I
lottery
say.
tickets?
Getting a bill, doing whatever it
How
is
they
they
doing
want to
all
do.
of this
Now they
stuff
can't find
with no
$15
ID?
for
How they
for their
getting
birth
food
certificate.
stamps and Medicaid and
Right. It's nothing
how
that
they
you
doing
can
all
get
of
unless,
that?
but see what's interesting though is as a citizen, which I have no problem like proving that and showing it, right? But ironically, these undocumented illegal aliens can go and get all of this stuff and don't have an ID. They can get medical treatment, they can get
Hmm.
uh they can get the aid, they can get all of that and they don't have an ID. So that is
Hmm.
what's funny because they do allow them to get a whole lot of stuff that citizens can't get
You
much
know what I
easier.
think would be this shows the dishonesty in the Democrats' argument because if they really thought this, um, that the issues were that one of the biggest thing that they say that people can't afford to get an ID, right? And so
Mhm.
many people can't afford to get an ID. Then the compromise would be, hey, okay, we will agree that everybody should have an ID, but you put a fund aside to help people to pay for IDs who may not. And then you have to fit a certain criteria, people who just may be released from jail
Mhm.
and or if you meet certain income level or something. I don't know, I still don't know how people who poor, just because you poor don't mean you ain't identifying yourself and don't need an ID
Yeah.
day to day. How you even get, I don't know, but anyway, I digress.
Yeah, I
They're
think,
not even offering a compromise on, I mean, because y'all ask for money for anything else, why not money to pay for people to get IDs?
and that's what I was about to say. In a lot of states, if you can't afford, you can file for like indigent or something like that. And they will allow you to get an ID. And I know
Let me tell you
because they're
something,
saying
Mo.
they want you to do the real ID, they actually are allowing you to upgrade to the real ID for free. Hey, Mary.
Yeah, let me tell you something. The two times that I had to get my birth certificate again. I was born in Texas. I was living in Ohio, and I was applying for something. I don't remember what it was, but I needed my birth certificate. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a copy of my birth certificate. Got online vital statistics, and I paid $35 because I needed it right away, and I
Expedited.
believed that I got it in 3 days. Okay, no problem at all. The next time, my purse was stolen, and when my purse was stolen, I had just gotten my Texas ID because I just moved to Texas, and I
Mm-hmm.
still had it in my purse. Or no, it might have been for that ID for my job. I think that's what it was. And so I still had my documents in my purse. Whatever it was I needed for my purse was stolen. And again, I had to send away for my birth certificate because without my birth certificate, I can't get my driver's license
Right.
again. And I need my social security card. So my name was spelled different on my birth
Oh,
certificate.
Lord.
And it wasn't a problem the first time because I didn't need a new ID and I didn't need a new social security card. But since everything was gone, nothing that I had that
Match.
spelling on there. So I had to go to the social security office and let them know, hey, I got my birth certificate, it's spelled differently. This is who I am. Gave them my social security number. They gave me a piece of paper with my information on it
Mm.
so I could go and get my driver's license. That easy. All I had to do was get in my social security number. They gave me the paper that said, hey, I applied for my social security card. I'm waiting on it in the mail, but in the meantime, yep, this is her social security number.
Well, see, the thing is I think that what they're saying is, and that's what is I feel is racist, classist, all of, because all that you went through, that's because you are a type of person that is not going to just give up. They're saying people ain't gonna go through all that.
Well, then then they
They
don't
just
want to
don't,
vote.
right, they don't need to
Then
vote,
they
and
don't
then
want to vote. That's not our problem. It's not our responsibility to make you go and make it, I mean, you can't make it no easier than you just if you want to participate, then you'll do what is necessary to participate, right? We shouldn't have to relax the rules because you lazy.
yeah. Well, see that, but that's what the Democrats know, and then reality is a lot of those people. Sadly, I mean, it's lazy on both sides, I'm sure, but a lot of them are they are assuming are their voters, and they don't want to lose them. So
Mhm.
that's
They
the
ain't
whole.
lying because they know if they don't have to, they're not going to go sit down at the DMV all day long. But this ain't got nothing to do with none of those voters, okay? This has strictly to do with them allowing room for people who shouldn't be voting in our elections to vote.
Yeah, I mean, I
Because
tell
since
somebody
they're
today,
giving
I
out,
don't
because
even understand why this is an argument.
because it used to be your driver's license was enough because to call us crazy, we assumed that only U.S. citizens would get there, or people who were legally here could have the documentation to get. But then when Democrats decided handing out driver's license to anybody,
You get a
even
license,
people
you
who
get a license,
weren't
because they do
citizens,
that in Minnesota.
then now we have to find another way to secure the election. Again, this is because the Democrats, if y'all wasn't handing out driver's license to people like Tic Tacs that just, you know, came here, then we wouldn't need another measure of security for the election. So thank yourselves for that.
Right, exactly. No, I'm
But
all
now that we
for it.
know that they have ID and you only require an ID to vote, now we got to put another layer of security on ID. Prove you're a U.S. citizen.
Because as we saw in California, they just let you say, I should go and be like, I'm Jesse Jackson. See if they let me vote, and I just sign the affidavit. You're not gonna find out. You're not gonna find me, because you see the little old lady when we did the video. She would look like she should have been working no more. And she like, well, why would somebody lie, girl? Because people lie. What is you talking about? Because they crooks. They trying to do something dirty. When you doing something
Oh, do
dirty,
you
you
know what
gonna be
gets me
dirty.
most? Is when they'll say, People who are legal, they probably vote in the election. Uh, People won't vote in the election. That's against the law. Well, hello, if that logic worked, then we wouldn't need a jail, police, or
Exactly.
nothing because all the things that people get locked up for are against the law, but somehow they decided they
Exactly.
were gonna take a chance to do it anyway.
But then you know
So
that thing they go back to, Stag, is, well, how often is it happening? I said one time is
it
too
doesn't
much.
matter. Yeah, doesn't matter. Every illegal vote cancels out the voice of an American citizen. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it's one time, like you said, Mo, it's one time too many because you just taken away the voice of an American citizen.
And how many times have have people been caught and been arrested? Did you see the lady? Now she didn't got in trouble. But you see the lady registered her dog to vote 3 times just to prove.
No.
Oh yeah, and her dog got registered. Now
Mm,
she fighting the case now because she did it, but she was doing it to prove that you don't, anybody could register to vote, and you
yeah.
don't have to have an ID.
And when I moved to Georgia from Texas, right, all I had to do was go online and register to vote. I didn't have to go nowhere, didn't have to show nobody any
And
documents
just
or
check the
nothing.
box. I'm an American citizen.
Yep. And I got my voter's registration card. So
Look, Sacred said her dog voted for Kamala. I bet that's why. That's why she ain't win because she got fake votes. Well, you got
mhm.
anything else in this political arena that you want to touch on?
I don't know if it's political, but we have an update from Fulton County. Yay.
Yeah, it is.
So
What's the
the
update?
commissioner, that old black man,
Yeah.
right? The one,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. They filed a lawsuit. I'm sure you guys
I
heard to
I saw
get
that.
those things. But the problem is they broke Georgia law because they filed the suit without having a public hearing on it and having
Mm-hmm.
a public vote on whether or not to
They
sue.
should file
Number
the suit.
two, number two, that they don't belong to them. They belong to the county clerk. So they illegally filed a lawsuit. They had nothing
Mm.
to do with it. They said it because they said that they couldn't use the warrant, the first warrant, because it was in the wrong location because they didn't have the ballots. It was with the county clerk. So they had to modify the warrant to go to the right building to get the ballot. So they don't belong to them. So
So
that's where
they
we
done
are now.
wasted. It says, yeah. Oh yeah, I was looking. It says Fulton is a legal lawsuit. So yeah, they. What are they? This is how you know somebody has to be doing something. Because if you weren't doing anything, what are you fighting about somebody checking to see what you're doing? Come
That's what
on
I keep
in, Cletus.
asking.
Okay, come on, Cletus. Come on in here, check it all
If
out. If you know you
we,
ain't doing
why
nothing.
do we retain the records from elections for so long after that election is over? Why don't we just toss them out if we can't never look at them?
Right.
Why would we just toss all? Why we paying for storage and all of that stuff if nobody can look at them after the election is over with? We
They
retain
just
them
they
till
just
they
don't
read
want
them.
they just don't want Trump looking at them. That's all that is.
Yeah.
They don't want nobody in the Trump administration. Nobody got to do with Trump. Nothing with Trump. Now, oh,
That's
you know what?